Thank you for joining us for the 2-minute drills. I'm Aram Talegian, San Gabriel Valley Newspaper Group football writer, joined by Fred J. Robledo, the San Gabriel Valley Tribune's prep sports editor. Freddie, we got a big enough one going down on Friday night that Fox Sports thinks it's time to bring the cameras to the San Gabriel Valley and get this one on film and show it live in SoCal. We could be not talking about none other than the defending Southeast Division champions, West Covina Bulldogs, heading to Covina District Field for the second straight year to take on Covina. 7:30 p.m. again at Covina District Field. Fox Sports covering it. What can you say, man? Pretty nice to have this kind of coverage.
Yeah, I think what Fox is going to get for sure is an incredible atmosphere. I think the Covina District Field is a great place for a football game. You feel like you're on top of the field. When those teams played there a couple of years ago, Aaron, the atmosphere was just absolutely incredible. I think you're going to get that. The problem is I don't think you're going to get a great game.
So you're saying, how long are you going to get?
Yeah, I think the past 2 years, if this game was going to be shown on television, it should have been shown 2 years ago when Covina had the miracle comeback.
Or last year.
Or last year when West Covina beat them in overtime. But you and I know this is not the same Covina team. They've graduated so much. They've lost Coach Daryl Thomas. It's the first game for Joe Brown. I was at Covina's scrimmage against South Hills last week, and I came away from that game thinking, I didn't think neither team was that great. There were no playmakers. There were no guys.
But Covina surprised you.
Covina surprised me. Yeah, Covina surprised me. I thought they outplayed South Hills in the half that I saw them. But again, South Hills didn't look that great to me. Like I said, I didn't see any game breakers. I didn't see any guys that you can sit here and you can just kind of single out and say these guys have the capability of taking over the game. Now, West Covina, Aram, you can say that. They're the two-time Southeast champs. Yeah, and you saw them against Claremont. I just think this is an incredible tough spot for Covina and Coach Joe Brown to be on live television in front of a big audience when they're in a complete rebuild mode.
It is, but it's good for the kids. It's good for the program. It's good for the Valley. I don't think this is going to be much of a game, Fred. Like you said, I did see West Covina last Friday night scrimmage against Claremont. This team is absolutely reloaded. They are lightning quick on defense, Fred. And I get the feeling that in the Tribune area, maybe even in the all-encompassing, you could see West Covina at number one at the end of the season again, or you could see them at number one at some point during the season. They're that good, Fred. I don't know what to say. I mean, Noodles Hull, Antonio Noodles Hull, that is, he's got to get the ball. That was the one thing I came away a little worried about with the practice, but who am I to question Coach Murphy, Coach Majori? Those guys know what they're doing. They're going to get him the ball. John Nahara, the quarterback, Fred, he looked excellent. I mean, West Covina, I tweeted this out, they looked better passing the ball than they did running the ball, and I never thought I would say that. That's because John Nahara was on fire. Now, he injured his knee and had to come out of that game. He was helped off the field. Right. Coach Majori says he's just fine. You got to think this kid's going to do whatever it takes to get out there and be a part of this, in front of the cameras. He gives them a new dimension, Fred, a new element that they didn't have in the past. If West Covina can throw and run with that defense playing on the other side of the ball, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they got Salgado at running back too, Aaron. He was a horse last year, and you talk about
Noodles. Rusher.
What I don't worry about West Covina is whether or not they can run the ball. It seemed last year, sure, take away Solomon, whoever else you want to take away, but they've always got a stable of backs. They'll have someone that they can plug in and do what they do best. They've always been able to run with Mike Majori's been at the helm. What you really haven't seen is, like you just said, a consistent passing game. And Nahara, like you said, he was injured in the first game last year, came back. Yeah. They never
took the
they never were able to work his way in.
Yeah.
I thought he looked incredible. I was at the Arroyo passing tournament, which they won this year. Yeah. Something that West Covina never does is win passing tournaments. And you're right, that guy, and that's what West Covina really needs. They're going to play Loyola later in the season. I always thought
the next week.
Yeah, is it the next week?
Next week.
You are not going to beat those teams being one-dimensional. You're not going to beat those teams just being able to run teams down their throat. Not the Loyolas. You can get away with that in the Hacienda League. But this is a dimension that West Covina, when you start thinking later down the line, state bowl burst, which to me is the next big thing for them, if they can win a CI championship, if they can run the table in league and the non-league, you do that, you're going to need a guy who can throw the football to go with your running game. And you're right, West Covina has that. I absolutely think they can be better than the last 2 years. I don't know how they're not number one in your all-encompassing. For the life of me, I can't get how Monrovia is ahead of West Covina. But
wait a second.
This is the team.
We can argue about my all-encompassing.
We'll talk about that
when
later.
Your Tribune top 10 comes out and West Covina is not number one, then I'm going to ask you the same question.
No, because Monrovia would be number maybe 3 or 4 in the Tribune if I had them over in our area. That's why.
Fine.
It would be number 1.
Listen, Monrovia has more than its share of D1 players, but that's not what this is about right now. We're talking West Covina. I've got them winning this game very, very easily, Fred. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I do too. And you know what the funny thing is, I remember 2 years ago when we first did this game, West Covina, we were kind of laughing it off on you know how bad West Covina was going to beat them, and then we come back and we do the show, and Covina.
Well, they were on their way in that game.
Covina shocks the heck out of everybody.
Then the last 8 minutes happened.
Fourth quarter comeback. So who knows? You know, we've been wrong before. We've predicted blowouts, but you're right, Aram. I absolutely don't see it. I mean, they just don't have that game breaker. Those guys that are going to keep them in this game. West Covina's going to score early, and they're going to score often, and it's going to be a lopsided game. And you know, set your DVR so you don't miss the beginning.
West Covina big. Fred's got West Covina big. You know, should be a great environment. Should be something fun to see. I know I'm going to DVR it, Fred. So when I get home, I'll be able to watch that late Friday night into Saturday morning. But fans, get on out there, enjoy the environment, enjoy the live TV cameras. This is Covina hosting West Covina at Covina District Field, 7:30 on Friday night. Enjoy it.